Good day. It's been a weird day today, but you can see I had this train over here. Okay, this train over here. I can say it's Leviathan, right? But my son had speakers that were made by the same company. Le or El means of the or her. Via or life of an angel, and time heaven of the crossover. The N is the crossover. Okay, the N letter and the Z letter is taking it from bottom left to top right. Or if you're in Russia, it'd be bottom left it would be top right to bottom left. Or the Russians turn that N around, which would be top right over top bottom right over to top left. And this is what happened to the train. It almost looks like the dog. You can see the front fell off. We had the back. We had the big window. We had the 100. And we had the exclamation point with the two windows. And what's so great about this train is it's almost like the gravy train. So we must look at the Leviathan train as the gravy train. Why? Because when it fell on the floor, I had no money today, and all this money fell out. Now, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to count it all. So I lost the train, but I had put the money in the train to make sure that the train did not move, because this train, right, was holding the wiring. Oh, there you go. It was holding the wiring for when I used to plug in the phone I used to have. On a phone that I used to have, because it's all cracked up. It's not cracked up the way it used to be. So I'm going to take it apart and learn how these phones go. Now, not only that, but my son is moving out, and he moved over some stuff to me, and he lent me his speaker, his what do you call it, the camera. So now my camera works, but I did forget a couple of things at his house. What I just want to add on to the quick video is remember that when we do set up, you see this 8, what happens? 2 gets 3 and 3. 3 gets 2 and 3. 3, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2. So what does 2, 3, 2 get? It gets this design over here. Now when we're building and designing, remember, if I create this beehive above, I will put the same beehive below, and in between I do not have to connect this area over here. I will be putting up a design picture. I will be photoshopping something a little bit later, early tomorrow morning on this. My next thing I want to talk about is AE and I. AE and I is top left corner A to in the center E to on the bottom of I. I gets a corner. It is the polar corner of an A corner. It is not top to bottom, because top to bottom is 6. Corner to corner is 9. 7 in between 2. A, then you have BC, D, then you have E, so BC, D is in between 5 and 1, and 5 and 9 is actually F, G, and H. F, G, and H is 21, and it's all the same thing. The gateway goes with 6 as it goes with the world that is within. Okay, you can see the 9 is the joint to the next cube. Okay, I heard something today where they said catch 22. Well, how about I could have had a V8? Because V is 22, and the expression is 8. V8, 8 by 20 is 160, plus 16 is 176. And let me do it again because I could be wrong. 160, 8 times 2 is 16. 160, 176. Now, if we had to do 21, right, in blackjack, will be 168, and that's how many hours in the week. Now, the U letter and the V letter are actually the same thing, except we bring the 9 into the world. So therefore, we're 176, the spirit of 7 and 6, and where the light comes between 1 and 6, creating that 7. Now, what I have to understand that when I do explain this is that when I do say 168, 821, black gets jack, because it's black, the DC power. 21U, in French, they would say double W, means 2 times V is 44. In English, they say double U, so they're saying 42. So in one they're saying cat, and the other saying space. The cat is the space, and the 6 and 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 and 8 is 14, equals the 6 and 2, the space between 2 and 6, which is 3, 4, and 5. 12, 1 and 2 is 3. Creation is that space. Now to get over to the other side, really, 6 and 8 are the each side of each other. 6 is one away from 7th gate. 8 is one away from the 7th gate. 6 and 8 have the odds when you play the game of craps of 7 to 6. 21 is the W. 22 is the W in French, but it's noted as the W letter is the 23rd. So it's 21, 22, 23 equaling to 66. They all go together. Now you do know when you say the letter U, it has a W sound. When you say the letter O, it has a W sound unless you're in French. In French, it's spelled E, A, and U, 3 vowels. The same thing as their word we. As we see it, W-E, the French is O-U and I. So French and English is what I keep throwing around. Knick, knack, and neck, the I, the A, and the E goes towards the center. To the right is the O. E and O are next to each other. 5 and 22 makes 27, the big red dog. What we have to understand that the highest is 5. The lowest is actually 3, because 1 must pass between 2. That means everything we do must be in the circle of 4. 2 and 4 is what's missing, and that is what reflects to the 9 lives of the cat. 4 and 1 is actually the letters D and A. So now we broke the train, and the reason I had money in the train, not because I was saving the money in the train, but it was made as a weight. It made as a weight, so when I pulled the phone over to me to plug it in, I wouldn't pull it on the floor. But the cat jumped up and pushed it on the floor because I wasn't, I guess, careful. And there's still more money in here. Yes, I found another quarter. Another thing I wanted to speak about, and I wrote this down at my son's house today, is the scale. If I had to scale something, okay, and I'm going to be writing this down and explaining it to you, and I have this in my other book, I won't have to do it again. If I had 1, 2, and 3, and I would have to take 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to go. I need 10 times 1 to equal 10. I need 5 times 2 to equal 10. And I need 10 times 3 to equal 30. Now you're going to ask me why. Okay, and there will be an add-on tomorrow because there is one more. I need to get, you see, the scale was only adding up exact. The scale was a 1 gram scale. It was for my son's food cooking course. So in order to get the penny, if the penny actually weighed, okay, 1.1, right, I would have to go 10 times that in order for the scale to measure out the exact scale. If I had to do the 2 cents, I would need 5 times 2 cents in order to do the weight. Perfect for 10 cents because it's only a gram scale, so it's not measuring in between. So I'll see how many coins it's going to take before this one will say the number 2 or the number 1, giving me a perfect weight because it's not a scale that has a point. It's an exact. If I had to do the 4, I would have to go 5 times 4 equaling to 20 because I can't have a remainder. If I would do the 5, I would get 5 times 4. If I would have the 6, I would have to have 5 times 6 equaling to 30. I can't go 4 times 6 or 3 times 6 or 2 times 6 because there's always a remainder. If it would be 7, I would have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When does 7 equal 0? 7 equals 0 only at 10. 5 times 2 and 5 plus 2. Earth of Jesus Christ equals to that, and the minimum you get is 70. When you go to 8, you can go 4 times 8. No, you must go 5 times 8 equals to 40. This is the Silver Spirit matrix. When you go over to 9, it's not 1 times 9 or 2 times 9 or 3 times 9 or 4 times 9. The only time you get 9 perfect is when you reach 10 and it goes up to 90, and 10 equals to 1 as back in the beginning. And these are obligations in order to be running my weight with no carryovers to know exactly how many coins. So if I have the penny, and if I have the nickel, and if I have the dime, and I have the quarter as weight, I will need 2 quarters. I will need the penny, we already did. I will need 10 pennies. If I had the nickel, I would have to have 4 of them, and if I had the dime, I would have to have 1 of them. So if I'm looking for exact weight, this is exactly what has to be done. So what would this give me? This would give me 1 over to 10, which equals to a total of 55. okay? And I would have 10, 5, 10 equals to 25. This is the 4 equals to 25 equals to 30. Now I need to have the 5 times 4, okay? 5 times 4, so I have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now the 6, 90. The 7 is 160. The 8 is 200. The 9 is 290. And the 10 equals to 1. The 10 equals to 1 times 290, 300. Bingo. Let's go bowling. So we had 355. We have to add 350. So we get 355 is exactly what we have to do. So now what does this give me? Well, I have to think, but we all know about one thing. You see this? Anytime you have 3 numbers and a 5, anytime you have a 5 or 3 numbers, and it doesn't matter if you have 6 or 7, because we have to bring it either to 0 or we have to bring it over to a 5, because that's how we work with the penny market now. So since we have this marking over here, if you want to go 3 times 55, it's 165. So that would be the BC communication, and I have to go a little bit deeper to who's looking for information or what I need to do in order to figure out what I'm going to say about this. 5 times 35 is 150, 160, 175. The spirit in the gateway. There is a gateway right over here. So this is exactly what must happen in order to get everything to balance off. This is the answer, 355. I think the minimum number of days in the Hebrew calendar is 354. I think 355 is the first or the last day, and it goes the same thing for 384 and 385. 40 days in the desert, 385 days in creation, 3 opposite of 4, 101 away from 8, the 7th gate, and in the center, 202, which actually has to have 4 corners, which becomes 808, and now you have the playing cards. So we went through all of this. I still have to count my money, and I'll tell you the amount when I do the upload. Is there anything else I have to do in here? Raphael 7286 and a constellation of Pegasus with a brand new camera. And what you can say about this telephone, I'm not sure, right? Just ripping off the, see the glass, the way I have to rip it off? I'm going to rip off that glass and see what I can do. Raphael 7286 and a constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching. Civil Athens, the Olympics of life.